This is the Lizardman city we built for our games, set in the heart of Lustria, a place of mystery, power, and ancient magic. Designed to complement our sprawling jungle terrain, this city is a window into the glory days of the old ones. Unlike the crumbling ruins often seen in fantasy settings, we built this city to reflect its prime, alive with monumental pyramids, sacred spawning pools, and bustling marketplaces. From the towering gates inspired by the original 1933 King Kong film, to the intricately detailed palaces and dwellings, every piece tells a story. It's a testament to the dedication and creativity of our gaming back in the 1990s. Scratch built from foam board, plaster, resin casts and textured paints, this city isn't a backdrop. It's a character in its own right. Before we step through those iconic gates and explore the fortress wall, please take a moment to like and subscribe. And I'm going to show you a structure that holds the spirit of this city and sets the stage for countless epic battles. As I said earlier, the original King Kong film and those massive gates made such an impression on me as a youngster. I always wanted to build something in tribute. I can't show a full tutorial on the exact process, as that has been lost to time, just like the Slann. But what I will do is flip some of the parts over so you can get an idea of how we constructed them. These gates are made with a really simple technique. They're just foam board with card details and painted with the same copper paint and Tamiya smoke process as I used on the Lizardman figures. It makes the gates feel in sync with the army. They are hung on wire hinges pushed into the foam board walls. There's no need to make things like gates move, but I have in this case because it's more fun and it adds engagement to the model if it's interactive. The walls are just foam board, cut and hot glued. I have made sure to be super neat with all my edges and overlaps, so we don't get unnatural lines down and across the walls. Once built and trimmed, each piece was painted with a base coat of light beige emulsion paint mixed with PVA and plenty of sand. This took ages to dry, but it formed a textured shell over the whole model, acting as an undercoat and base colour, all in one go. It was easy to add a few painted details and a wash to blend and soften the colour slightly. Then, a little dry brushing here and there to add a little bit more texture. We even made a section of breached wall that we can swap in, ready for siege games. The dwellings followed the same process, and I made them with no floors, so it's easy to place models inside. The goods in the marketplace are all sorts of resin and white metal casts. Some of them are from model railroad suppliers, and some are more traditional wargame pieces. But I couldn't tell you where they came from now. It was so long ago when we made this. We've used them for all sorts of fantasy-based settings, and they are starting to look a little bit tired, like the rest of the city. But they are still table ready and plenty good enough for now till I get round to restoring them. The palace is a bit different. I made the base structure in foam board, but to texture it, I wanted a fitted stone look. To do this, I carefully made a bunch of sample stones in plasticine and then used these to make a silicone rubber mould. I then cast all these elements and stuck them on with hot glue. The base coat is the same colour as the walls, but without the sand in the paint. It means the overall colours of the building are similar, but the texture is different, and that's what I was looking for. Some of these slabs have more complex designs on them. These were originally made in card, then cast, just like the other slabs. It meant we had access to loads of similar tiles, which is what makes structures like this look so impressive. The spawning pools and monuments used a different process again. In this case, I made the base structure out of foam board or hard foam and card, but then used a skim of plaster which I sanded and sculpted to achieve the overall finish. It's got the same paint effect as the palace, so it all ties in, and that process helped me get all this built and finished in a relatively short space of time. The water in the spawning pools is a casting resin, with a little blue pigment to help make them feel a little bit esoteric, and some plastic plants robbed from the jungle to soften the edges a little. The pyramids we built following the exact same process as the palace, but in their case I cast a lot more tiles to make sure I had full coverage of every surface. I could have skimped on the decoration, but I wanted maximum impact, and that meant every surface needed a cast piece glued on. There is a fair bit of damage that has accrued over the years. The cracks and crazing on the main pyramid might be the result of too many summers in the loft, because I certainly didn't design it like this when I first built it. But to me, they add a little extra character, like a reminder that even the most glorious cities can weather the ravages of time. Still, restoring these pieces is definitely on my to-do list, and when I do, I plan to take it even further, inspired by the vibrant history of the Mesoamerican temples. Fully painted surfaces, bright colours, and semi-precious stone details could really make these models shine and bring this ancient city to life. But even as it stands, I love how the city's clean, structured lines contrast with the wild, untamed jungle surrounding it. This juxtaposition has given us countless memorable battles at the Wargames Club. Whether it's skinks firing volleys of arrows down the terraced slopes, or Slann generals commanding from the pyramid summits, this terrain has truly shaped the stories of our games. I'm thrilled to have this city back in my care for a little while. I can't wait to restore it and share even more adventures with you in the future. Maybe one day I'll return it to the club, where I know it'll continue to inspire epic games for years to come.